Well, folks, it's been a while. Been kind of busy around the house and a lot going on. Roofers and plumbers, and taking up all my valuable time away from me being able to work on the 65 Ford here. So, but kind of caught up today a little bit. Got a little bit of time. I just thought I'd maybe bring you up to speed on what's been going on. Well, unfortunately, we have got a few problems, multiple things going on here. But you know, it is a 65 model. It's been basically sitting up for 20 years. It kind of looks like it did when my dad parked it so many years ago. But you know, little history on the truck. My dad did buy the truck brand new in '65. I say brand new. I think a gentleman he worked with at Cooper Tire may have had it for a couple of months, and I, for whatever reason, decided he didn't want it anymore. So dad bought it. He drove it for many years. Bought it right here and home here in Clarksdale. And back in the day when you bought these trucks, the dealership put a bumper on it, and it had the name of the dealership. You can't see it because it got a tag over the top of it, but it says Clarksdale Motors Incorporated, Clarksdale, Mississippi, which is pretty cool. You don't see that anymore. Good heavy duty standard pickup bumper. Even had a little step on the end. But that's what these trucks were. These were work trucks. They weren't made to ride around in. This truck had basic stuff, no extra, no frills, no anything. It just had your basic interior. My dad's got the old metal toolbox on the back, and just your basic F-100. It doesn't have it's standard shift, the old 3 on the tree. And one of the problems I noticed the other day, my latch is not working for some reason, but this is the inside of it, bless him. It's just been setting up way too long. Didn't even come with a radio, no hole in the dash for a radio. My dad was very conservative. He was Dave Ramsey before Dave Ramsey, and I'm a little bit like him. But Daddy just needed a way back and forth to work, and that's what he got. And didn't have a carpet. It just got a mat in it. Just your basic truck. Like I told you earlier, the 65 model was the first one with a twin I-beam suspension. Got away from the straight axle, and it interesting in design, but it worked. It's got a 352. It's still got the sticker on the breather. 352 cubic inch and a whopping 208 horsepower. Isn't that amazing? But anyway, and I got the fuel pump on it. I did get the oil changed. We did paint the truck several years ago. Probably 10 years ago, I had it running a little bit. I pulled it out of the shed and had it running, but it never really moved under its own power. Had a lot going on, I think, about the same time. So I kind of got sidetracked 10 years ago. Never really got very far, other than just maybe making it run for just a little while. Really do want to get this thing going. But anyway, the problems I'm having now is I went to put the brake master cylinder on, and this line right here broke in two, right at the master cylinder, which shouldn't be a big deal. I just gotta either replace the line or hope for the rest of it's good, and I might could just put a union in it, put it back together, which is not gonna be a big deal. That's one problem. The other problem is I'm probably gonna have to rebuild the carburetor. It's sat up too long, and it's gonna have issues, I'm sure. The alternator's charging sometimes it's not. It's not a big deal, But the elephant in the room, the big problem we have is that when I cranked it 10 years ago, I got in too big a hurry. And when you get in too big a hurry, you make big mistakes. And I did. Apparently this valve here, can't see it for the plug wires, but this valve here apparently was stuck, and this valve over here was stuck. And you see the push rod is just laying there, and this push rod is just laying there. So probably what happened is that with the valve being stuck, the engine turning over, apparently messed the lifters up, 2 of them. I think the valve is free now, but it's a little late for that. But now the push rod does move up and down just a little bit. So the cam is still moving what's left of the lifter. So it's not going to fix itself. I'd hope maybe if I ran it a little while like I did in the past videos, that possibly that it might pump up, and the lifter might pump back up and go to working, but that's not going to happen. And I haven't taken this valve cover off over here, and I may have something similar going over there. But the only thing I know to do now is try to get some lifters and some push rods and pull the intake off of it, get the gaskets, and try to get it I don't know, I'm debating on whether to go ahead and replace the camshaft and the timing chain and gears. I've been suggested to by friends of mine that say, you know, Paul, while you got it down, the best thing to do is just go ahead and do it all while you got it down. You're gonna be right there at it. So I don't know. I guess I'll know when I take the intake off. I take the intake off, I'll be able to see the cam lobes and see what kind of shape they're in. And like I say, the push rod is moving. Both of them are moving a little bit up and down, but I don't know if a little bit counts or not. We won't know if we get the intake off of it. But at any rate, we're gonna go ahead, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull this other valve cover off today. Alrighty, we're gonna see if we can get this valve cover off of this thing. It's not that bad, really. It's just move a few things around. It's probably not really tight. I think it's like 5 bolts maybe. Yep, 5 1/2-inch bolts. And what we can do, we'll get this valve cover off, and then we're gonna see what we got going on here. Maybe just be the 2 cylinders that's bad, but I don't know, you know, it might be a good idea to go ahead and put a camshaft in it. I'm sure these parts are available. You don't get them at the parts stores hardly anymore. Nobody keeps stuff like that in stock anymore much. I guess there's just not any demand for it. It used to be very common. You go to the parts store and get pretty much anything you wanted for internal engine parts, but I guess motors last longer now. They go and go and go. And these, usually when they had 100,000 miles on them, they were kind of wore out. But I don't think that's the case anymore. I mean, they last a long time. But I've seen online, I think I'm pretty sure I can get what I need here for it. I'm gonna lose these bolts, just sure as the world. Let's see, one right there. Got the old PCV valve. I don't know when the first year they went to PCV valves. Anybody knows the answer to that one? I'd love to know that too. Because most used to, they didn't have. They just had a vent tube that came out and vented the smoke to the outside. And now they got the positive crankcase ventilation valve on this one. and it recirculates the gases inside the motor back into the intake and burns them again, which is pretty awesome for 65, I guess. One more bolt. I bet this intake is going to be really heavy, but that's okay. We're going to make it happen. I tell you, I can remember working on this thing as a kid. You know, first thing I learned really we're doing is wrenching on. Daddy had me changing oil in it and tuning it up, putting points in it, and I didn't know a lot about it, but I learned. And I had family that was good mechanics and people in the family, and I'd go bug the heck out of them, and ask them what I needed to do. And they'd usually help me out where I could get it done. But, and guess what? It's going to be stuck, looks like. Oh, mercy. There it goes. I don't believe it. Let's see what we got here. Now, let's see what kind of news we got on this. Let's see. Well, it looks like, nope, I got one off over here. Golly. So we've been running on what? 8, 7, 6, 5 cylinders is what we've been running on these last few days we had it cranked. Yep, that one's off too. Well, shucks. That's okay. We'll make it work. Just a matter of getting the intake off of it, pulling the carburetor out, distributor coil. That's all. Just all that. And then we get it all, you know, then we'll find out where the camshaft is bad. Probably is, but that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna get it tore down here and just see what happens. So, kind of bored y'all enough today, but thanks so much for watching. Any comments, any advice, any likes would be much appreciated. And if anybody wants to subscribe, it would be awesome. I'm trying to build this channel up, and we're going to work through this thing, and I'm going to try to get, with all the roofers gone and plumbers gone, hopefully I'll have more time to dedicate for this. And then, like I say, it's cooled off quite a bit too, so we're going to see what we can do. But thank y'all so much for tuning in and watching. Please add comments. What do you think about the camshaft deal? Do you think I need to replace it? Any ideas on anybody that would have the parts that would talk this language here, 352 language? You just about have to find somebody my age that knows a lot about it, but somebody that have the parts at a reasonable price. And look forward to seeing y'all next time, and we'll get us an intake off of this thing. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate it.